trying to forget you. I've been trying to forget, trying to forget, trying to forget you. I've been trying to forget, trying to forget, trying to forget, trying to.
Can you stop that? This is my naughty kitty trying to get out the dog door. Can you stop trying to get out the doggy door? I do let him out sometimes, but he's not allowed out right now because I have to go out soon. So I recently had my second posing lesson at Nat Kidney's studio, and she made this really nice comment.
Yeah, you work so hard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she moves well.
Thank you. Yeah, wow. Good girl.
I made myself a timesheet and I clock in every day.
Yeah. Good, I can tell.
This is where I practice, in my kitchen. And I have this breakfast bar area over here. See, there's my shoes right there. And then this is my, what I call my posing timesheet. And there's obviously my posing mirror. I like keeping it in here because this is the only space in my whole house where I have a bit of room to do half turns and walk forward and back. This floor is very slippery, so I think that's good boot camp as well because it's quite scary doing pivots on this floor. But I keep this timesheet here specifically, probably because I spend more time in my kitchen than I do any other parts of my house. Having a timesheet where I clock in and out has been really valuable, and you can see how many times I've clocked in and out so far. I've only just started it this month. But I think when you're new to posing, you get this really big shock of, oh, it's not as easy as it looks. Someone who makes it look easy has done a lot of practice, and you realize how painful it is. So I've done a lot of posing in figure, but not in bikini. So it's a completely new skill set for me. So I feel like I'm a complete beginner and I should treat myself as such. So the reason why I did a posing timesheet is so I can track how many days and how many minutes I've actually spent practicing. And it's helped a lot because if I aim to just do 10 minutes a day, it doesn't sound intimidating. I'm more likely to find 10 minutes a day to just stick my shoes on, time myself, do 10 minutes, and then take them off. And because it's such a new skill and I haven't practiced posing for a while, 10 minutes was actually all I could handle a couple of weeks ago. So I've done it every day now, so it's a little bit easier. But see, look, he's trying to get out. Look, he's trying to escape. It's locked, but he wants to go outside. He's just been outside, but he has decided it's not long enough. Yeah, I know, darling. This has changed the game for me because I am practicing more consistently. So if you are trying to get better at your posing, rather than trying to do, say, 2 or 3 sessions a week where you do half an hour or an hour, if your posing endurance isn't there yet, you won't be able to handle it, and it actually feels intimidating. It does for me anyway. But I can handle 10 minutes a day. So I did that. I had my first posing lesson with Nat, and then she gave me a few points to work on, and then every day for 10 minutes I clocked in and I worked on the points that she taught me. And then when I went back, it was actually 2 weeks and 2 days later for lesson 2 with Amanda, I showed Nat, and yeah, she could see the improvements there. When I was practicing every day, I didn't actually feel like I was making any improvements. And I think it's so important to remember that if you're doing something every day, you will not feel like you're getting better because you're just doing reps. And you're looking at yourself in the mirror, like I'm looking at myself, and I see all the parts of myself I don't like. So you can't actually see the improvements. But then when someone else who hasn't seen you for 2 weeks watches you move, it's obvious to them if you've been practicing or not. They can tell because you just move differently. So I really appreciated her giving me that comment because it made me feel like the 10 minutes a day really helped. The good thing is, because I did 10 minutes every day for the 2 and a bit weeks, now I've gone through lesson 2, and I think this is so important. Like, I'm sticking up for the posing coaches when I say, if you don't practice what you've been taught, they have to keep teaching you the first lesson again because there's nothing to build on yet. So Amanda gave me a few new things to work on, which is awesome. And now I'm clocking in every day and I'm doing 15 minutes. So I've bumped it up. I've added on 50% and I'm able to cope. So my calves are not cramping up as much. My back is still cramping, but I can take it for longer. So my posing endurance has increased a little bit, and I'm going to keep doing that until I see them again next week for my 3rd lesson. Hopefully they'll see improvements again and give me the next little bit to work on. So I think posing, even though this is a new federation for me, it's a new category, all the skills are new, I know that there's no such thing as too much practice, because the more you practice, the more stuff they can teach you. They can add arms, they can add embellishments, they can add little bits and pieces that make your posing even more polished. So the more you practice, the more polished you can become. If you are struggling to be consistent with your posing, make yourself a timesheet. Like I just typed it up in Word, and I've literally got session number, date, time started, time finished, total minutes done, and then notes. So sometimes I write notes to myself about something that I want to practice. So I do reps. There might be one particular move or pivot or change that I'm not getting. So I'll do reps and reps and reps of that, just one particular move, rather than just go through the whole entire sequence over and over. So I like to break it down and really focus on the ones that I'm not good at and do them more. So that's helped me a lot. What I also do separately is mobility drills. I'll do a few mobility drills before I do my posing and a little bit during, but I like to do a whole separate mobility session, because then you can really get into the stretches. So I'll show you my separate video about the mobility drills that I do, which help with posing. I mean, you can do them together in one session, but I like to split these up. And when it comes to mobility, again, 10 minutes a day is better than twice a week for an hour, because it's the reps and the volume that I think you start to get better at what you're doing, rather than putting all that pressure on yourself to do this one big long session and then having to actually carve out time to do it. This is just what's working for me. I've still got so far to go when it comes to posing, so far, but that's what's forcing me to do little things like this that make me practice more, because I feel like I'm a complete beginner, and I don't know how far along I am in terms of posing, which is good, because if you don't know how far you have to go, you'll do more practice, you'll be hard on yourself, and you'll keep pushing and doing the reps. So hopefully that helps. I mean, you can do timesheets with any skill that you need to develop, really. Here's something that I think, a trap that a lot of people fall into, is they think about something a lot, and then they think that was time spent doing it. I know it happens to me too, as procrastination, when you think like you plan and you're planning, but then you never execute. I think about posing all the time, and I might look at videos on YouTube and rewatch the videos that Nat's taken for me and that Amanda took for me. But this is a record of how much I actually executed. This is the truth. So I can't turn up and say I did X amount of hours a week posing. That's a timesheet. So that says how much time I actually spent doing it. I know some people will practice their posing while they're training, like in between their working sets. I started trying to do that. I don't like doing that. I don't like it. I might do a little bit after my session, but I just find I train really hard. So when I'm in between working sets, I'm either resting or I'm doing a little bit of mobility, because I can feel tightness in my body somewhere and I want to improve the mobility before I do my next working set. So I feel like I can't give my posing practice as much oomph as I can if I do a separate 10-minute session. So being about 6 months out, if I'm doing 15 minutes a day now, I feel like I have plenty of time to slowly increase the amount that I do. So by the time I get to that 1 month out, I want to be able to do an hour a day. And that probably won't be all in one session. That will probably be, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes maybe after one of my workouts, 10 minutes in the afternoon, 10 minutes at night, whatever. Because then if you have the endurance, that means it doesn't matter how long you're on stage for, you're able to continue with a good performance and not start to get tired and flatten out. So anyway, hopefully that helps. If you want to be a nerd like me, make yourself a timesheet. And if you want to watch the video about mobility, I'll stick it here somewhere around here, this part. Give you some ideas on how to get more flexible for your posing too.